What's going on, BookMine family? Today we're going to be doing some online book arbitrage sourcing profitable books with BookMine. We just came from my YouTube channel, had a really productive 25, 30-minute session. Make sure you go back and watch that video if you want the sort of model for how to make $100 profit per hour. But we're just going to continue that really productive sourcing session. And we've already got Nathan who say, I'm not convinced you're even real, both AI bots. Jerry says that's funny, and it
Yeah.
is funny. Good morning, Bob. What's
Good
going on?
morning, everybody. How's everyone doing?
That's awesome. What's up, Bob? So we've got an awesome community. These
Yeah.
guys are BookMine members. If you guys, if you're on the fence, I mean, these are real people. Even though Nathan accused us of being AI bots, Nathan is actually a real human being. I have met with him in person, or not in person,
Yeah.
but I've met with him over Google Meet before. We know Bob is also a real person. We know Jerry's a real person as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
can you see
We're
my
about to
screen
hit the
here?
ground running because we found
Yeah,
a really good book we were about to look at
yeah,
on Joji's channel. So,
yeah.
yeah, excited
You can
about
see my
getting into
screen,
it.
right?
Yep, can see it.
Okay. What I love about this book is the price drop was just immediate. Boom. Dropped off a cliff, and all of the recent sales are significantly higher than that. We're looking at $10. Mostly sales are in the mid 20s to up to 30. And this is clearly not a college textbook. At least I don't think, Victor, people are going to college to read about
Yeah.
Daredevil. Volume
I don't know
3.
what subject that would be. Yep.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel of some sorts. But what I like about this is you really could never have picked this book up this entire year for cheaper than what you can buy for a day. Maybe there is about a couple of day period of time back here in September where that was possible, but generally it's sitting in the, right around the mid 20s
Mm-hmm.
and 30s, and you can see
30s.
how this
Yeah.
book is definitely undervalued. I don't see how you would ever lose money on a book like this because of the fact that it is undervalued. The question is, has the BookMine member picked it up yet? Doesn't look like it.
Wow. You guys are sleeping.
As of sleeping. So we actually have two copies available,
Yeah.
both in good condition, both from
Yeah.
prime sellers. Definitely great feedback there, 100%, 94%.
Yeah.
It's decent. It's a good copy, so I would
It's
still
a good
buy it
copy.
even at 94.
Yeah. I would
We,
too.
we put in 1073. Now, we have to think about setting a minimum price here, right? So we kind of established we think intrinsic value is in the mid 20s for
Yeah.
this book, but also if you put mid 20, let's see what we'd be. We'd only be profitable about $2. So just because the intrinsic value is 25 doesn't necessarily mean that has to be our min price. It just means that we should be very cognizant of it, right? We shouldn't have the min price like 50. We
Yeah.
should have the min price somewhere around there. Obviously, we want to be profitable here. So this is where you might stretch it up or like, okay, we'll actually set the min price like 27.50 because then we're getting to an acceptable ROI. But then again, from what we're seeing from
Well,
past
I'm
historical,
seeing those sales in November. That's 20. Those are like 29.95, right?
yeah,
Right. Yeah. Over
you
there,
have
29.95.
29.95,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, you could even set that as a min price, and I think
Yeah.
that'd be fine. And then the max price, I'm seeing the buy box get up into the high 30s. I'm seeing in the past the book actually selling in the high 30s as well. So I know that that is possible based upon historical sales. So for me personally, I'd probably put 27, 28, 29. It probably would just vary depending on what day it is, right? But they're all generally within the same price. And
Yeah.
then I'd probably put 39.99 for my max price there. Would you do something similar?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and it'll sell somewhere
39.99.
between there, right? It might sell
Mm-hmm.
for
Right.
32, might sell for 37. It's going to depend on the other prime offers. But again, what's something that we really like about these two copies and then the next available copy, Victor?
Well, there's a huge difference between the first two, as far as there's a price spread, right? So
All right.
10, 10, and then 28. That means if
Yeah,
you were to buy those two copies, the next copy up would be 28.
yeah,
And that's definitely something you want to look at. And
right.
seeing those, I would definitely buy both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a book that sells. Uh, I wouldn't say it sells a lot, but
Mhm.
it's a book that consistently sells. I mean, you would expect this book to sell every month, multiple times every month. So great book there. I'm thinking, let's just go with the middle price. Let's say realistically it sells at 35. We're already looking at both those copies selling for a $20 profit, which pays for what, 4 days of BookMine, Victor?
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that we're not even touching these books, right? All we're
Yeah,
going to do is pay for this book, send it into a prep center, and the rest is history, right? We're just going to price it and let it sell.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so we'll keep going down here. Um, So this is a book, for example, that currently is priced at 1660. It is definitely undervalued because you see used prices right around the 30, but we also see Amazon almost listing at 35. And remember that Amazon's new price is a ceiling. So as you get more experience, you'll realize that, okay, buying a book for 16 trying to flip it for 35 or close to the Amazon price, there's not enough spread there. There's not enough margin there. So even though this book is undervalued, and you still want to look at undervalued books, just know that with Amazon being that ceiling cap, there's not going to be much for us to be made there.
And BookMine did let you know it said it was a close price, so it's not the best price that's on the market today.
It's a
but it showed up because it also has a short supply.
So, right. So in other words, if this were just a normal supply, it wouldn't show up on BookMine. And the reason why that's so important is because generally what happens when we're in short supply is prices tend to increase. And so the possibility of selling this book for more is greater. But again, Amazon's on the listing. So
yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here. This is a very interesting book. It's about cats and cat knits. But there's a subset of the population that wants cat knits. Looks like the most 4 recent sales would have happened when the lowest price was 32, 37, 34, and 37. So we would say those sales happened there. We had a sell, it looks like 57, and then one at 9. Okay. And then potentially looks like a stretch of period when this was in the 20s and 30s without sales. I would actually argue that it's probably likely that the book was still selling during this time period. And the reason why I say that is we see price fluctuation, but we also see offer count fluctuation in a sort of way that you would expect to see if the book were selling like it's selling now. Again, a book that seems to be selling infrequently, but still selling consistently. And it looks like, for me, I'd say intrinsic value is probably right around low 30s.
And the reason why they could have had sales and not actually show it is because Keepa can't track all the books, right? Because they have a server space limit also. So these books that are like slower moving books like this, they're not going to go in and look at this book every day. So they're not going to actually see that there's a sale every, that actually happened, say, in between those longer tail books. So it's really good to look at also the used offer count.
Right, absolutely.
And if that goes down, there's probably a good chance that it's sold.
Yeah. For example, you were at an offer count of 13 here in May, and then in June you had an offer count of 4. So how did you go from 13 people selling the book down to 4? Right. I mean, and so this is kind of stereotypical of what we would see in the book actually selling. So in any case, this is right now at 19. I'm looking at intrinsic value in the 30s. So again, that's why
pass on it.
Yeah, pass on it. Okay. So let's look at this these next 2 books, which also are not textbooks. So we'll look at God and Three Persons, $13, so close price and also in short supply. And the reason why I'm looking at it is I see one sell above 50 and then some in the 30s. So that intrigues me enough to want to go ahead and look at it. So you can see, you've got that sell at the 50s, some sells in the 30s, and then some sells in the 10s. And again, another one of those books that shows a repeated pattern of going down low
and then recovering
and selling. Down low, selling for 30, down low, selling for 30, down low, selling for 30, down low, selling for high 30s into the 40s and 50s, down low, sell for the 27, down low, sell for 32, down low, sell for 30, and now we're down low.
I wonder what's about to happen, Joji.
What's about to happen? We're at the lowest off count we've ever been at, which is great, meaning there's going to be less competition on this listing. We're looking at 13, 14 being the buy price here. I'm thinking for a book like this, so we're buying for 13. I'm thinking probably setting the min price right around 32, 33, max price probably right around like 40-ish. That's what I would think. So
same thing. I really like the fact it kept recovering. So it would also be a book I would purchase.
$4.99. So let's go ahead and plug in the buy cost. Get $8.15 plus $4.99, and that's going to bring the buy cost to $13.14. What I really like about this is we've got one offer at 13, and then the next offer, Victor, goes to 21 and then to 27. And by the way, this is kind of more intrinsic value of the book between this 27 to 32. So what I would do for a book like this is probably put my min price, like I mentioned, at like 32. So still looking at only a 29% ROI if it sells at 32. And I said going up to 40 for my max price. I think that's a reasonable max price. There's also historical sales of it going higher than that. Just one thing that you guys want to be thinking of is you want to sell your book. You don't necessarily, in my opinion, Victor, you correct me if I'm wrong. My opinion, you shouldn't always be chasing the absolute maximum that the book is sold for, because, there's a reason why that price was the maximum. It was kind of like a one-off event where the book sold for that much. So,
we've always said you want to be a bookseller, not a book collector.
Yeah, you
So
want to be
yeah,
a bookseller, not a book
yeah,
collector. I think offering this for between 32 and 40 is
yeah,
golden. More than likely, what's going to happen is it's going to sell not at the 40 or at the 32, but somewhere in between there. And so, let's say it ends up selling for 37.50. We walk away with $8 profit, never touch the book, and now we have a replan, right? Is this going
right.
to happen again in the future, Victor?
It's happened over and over again, like what, 8 to 10 times?
Eight to
Yeah,
10 times,
yeah,
right? It looks like once to twice per year, maybe.
yeah,
And
yeah,
not only that, we are actually picking this up for right around 13. It actually has been lower than that in the past, but even at 13, I'm a buyer. But tracking this book, like we mentioned, so what you could do is above the keeper graph, click the track product button. I would
yeah,
say tracking this for, I'd say at $12, I'm a buyer for sure. $12 free shipping. If that ever gets to $12, I'll pick up a couple more copies.
yeah.
I'll start tracking it.
I also really like how old it is.
Oh, I love that. I mean, how could this book not? I mean, it's been performed. This book came out the year after I was born, so I mean, this book
Yeah,
has been performing my entire life, and
yeah,
it's just going to continue, in my opinion, to probably perform the same way.
mm-hmm.
So, awesome book
Exactly.
there. That's definitely a book I would consider a replan, a book that you sell over and over again. So, this is a book that I could easily see myself selling once, twice per year. And the thing is, if you can build up, a couple thousand of these replan books, I mean, you could literally just have a profitable business making 50, 75 grand a year, just selling the same book over and over and over again, like the same books, same few thousand books over and over and over again.
So if when the book hits the price that you wanted it to have, what would happen? What happens?
Yeah, great question. So the way that I have it set up is I'll have a Keepa notification sent to my phone. You can actually, you guys can kind of see it right there. So I'm going to cover my son, but you can actually see. Can you see this where it says
I
Keepa?
can see.
Yeah. So I get a Keepa notification. So I got one 6 minutes ago for a book. I also get an email notification, but then you can also look within Keepa as well. You can go to the track product feature, the track button here, the little bell icon, and then you
Oh,
can go
okay.
to recent notifications, and then you'll be able to see books that you recently got notified for, and it'll show you what those books are down there. Okay,
Great.
good question. All right, next book that I want to look at, The Art of Mulan, $12. It's in close price. It also was brought up because not only was it close, but it also is actually the cheapest that this book has ever been. And I would bet this book is probably not made this year. It looks like it probably has been out for a little while. So
Yeah.
we look at the last 4,000
Okay.
days. You can see, wow, this book was performing amazingly.
Yeah.
2015 to
16,
20.
17, 18,
Wow, it's
19.
it's
Yeah.
crazy how well it's performing, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see it's kind of slowed down in the number of cells. And then
It's still doing well. It's
doing
not
well.
doing as well as like say those other years, but still doing pretty well.
Yeah, you can still see that. I would say intrinsic values in the mid 20s here, at least in
Yeah.
the last year. And then the buy box has frequently been higher than that, and it is definitely possible that those have been selling. Like for example, you can see if we click on one of those buy box little diamonds, you can see academic overflow.
Mm-hmm.
They went off the listing at 38.85, so the stock quantity went from 1 to 0. So I would say there's very high likelihood that they sold for that. You can see this guy, Arboreal Market, he was listed at 75, dropped to 45, and then he sold
And
his
then
in a
sold
couple
out.
days. Also went off the
Yep.
listing. So it's not a 100% guarantee that the book sold, but you have to think about it reasonably looking at the data in front of you. I'm not thinking those are high pricing errors. Those look actually like realistic prices that the book could sell for, especially considering in the past people are willing to easily spend up to 70 or 80 bucks for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that this book, even being listed at 25, is still probably regularly selling in the $40, $45 range. And so I would definitely consider that. You can even see right now the buy box for at 57, which is great because if you come back and undercut at 40, you'd win the buy box because you get the cheapest price. So
Also,
seven,
although I really couldn't tell on the graph, but I think this would also be a good Christmas gift. So I wouldn't have any issue buying it, thinking maybe I'd also sell it right around Christmas time because I could
yeah,
see some kids or some family members really liking this that movie, and then like, okay, well let's buy the book for them.
yeah, I could
Yeah,
agree as well.
yeah.
I would agree as well. So we're looking at a $12.23 purchase price in good condition, and then it goes up to so we have 12.37. So it looks like we
Yeah.
have 4 offers, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would actually just buy both the good copies here. Although you do have 2 Goodwills with 95% feedback. So if you did buy them, they're
Yeah.
probably not terrible books. I mean, there's a reason why they have decent feedback. So
Yeah.
I would buy at least 2 copies of this book. Honestly, maybe even more, just because it's performed so well long term. I know that it has the potential to sell for a lot, And I also just don't see how I lose money on this book, right? One thing that you guys should be thinking about is, are you really risking $12 when you buy this book, right? I mean, if you said you're risking all $12, you're basically saying you think that this book would never sell. So do I think this book would never sell? No, I don't think that's possible. I don't see that this book would stop selling. Like, even if I put my offer there on the Amazon listing, Victor, and it sits for 6 months, I still think that it's going to sell. Like, I don't see how it wouldn't sell. Not only that, worst case scenario, let's say I have to liquidate at 22. Okay, sure. So let's go back. I think we said
the worst case scenario, right? So
yeah,
it's
worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So let's say, okay, so we bought it for, I think, what was the price? Like 13.
Yeah.
Let's say the worst case scenario, we have to sell for 22. We're losing $7. So really, when I think about it, I'm not thinking about the risk being 13. I'm thinking about the risk being like maybe $7. But even then, I'm thinking that's kind of worst case scenario. If I had to play the odds and think of this as a simulation, if I bought this for 13,
yeah, I feel like the worst case scenario would be 25. I just don't see.
Yeah,
there's just no way it's not going to sell for 25.
And more realistically, what I think is that I'd probably set my min price at like $37.99. Probably set my max price honestly like $49.99. And I think that there's a very high likelihood that the book's going to sell between those two values. If I had to run the simulation, I'd say if I were to buy this book, I'm thinking 9.5 out of 10 times it's going to be a profitable book. And so if I buy 100 books like this, maybe 5 of them don't work out and I break even, maybe lose $1. But I don't see how this book doesn't perform well.
But there is a lot of people that wouldn't buy it because they're worried that they would actually lose money on the book. But you got to like go past that. You got to focus on the data and realize there's a really good chance that book would actually sell. Misa asked, are we looking into buying, like, are we buying Christmas books right now?
Yeah. Right now is a great time to be buying Christmas books because a lot of them are hitting their off-season lows or already have done that for a while. One thing that you'd want to do is for books that have an offer count that maybe looks higher than it normally is, you'd want to kind of monitor that book over the next couple months. But yeah, there's definitely a handful of books for Christmas that I personally already picked up. What about you, Victor?
Yeah, same thing. I'm always a buyer for Christmas books, except right during Christmas. Like, maybe in November and December, I probably stop. But the rest of the year, I definitely buy Christmas books. They're if I can get one pretty cheap and I already know reliably it always goes to a certain price point, why not? So
absolutely, yep. So we got Denise saying good morning, and then Denise saying, hey, can you guys analyze the Gifts of the Spirit book, which is right below. I picked one up for $1 and one for, wow, you picked one up for $1? That's pretty crazy. Wow. Maybe someone was a prime seller and they just, I don't know, they priced at $1. That's kind of crazy. One for $8. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's share our screen. So
really recently, somebody had an FBA price of like, it was like 9 cents. And I just bought it just because I've never bought a book that cheap. So
you bought a book for 9 cents?
Yeah. With FBA. So yeah.
Yeah, my best flip I think was 95 cents, and I think I sold for like 130 or something.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I haven't sold it yet. I bought it just actually fairly recently, maybe a couple of weeks ago.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So there are people out there who think that you can't buy books cheaper online. I mean, I don't see you guys buying books at Goodwill for 9 cents.
That's right.
We're joking, right? It only happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Honestly, pretty rarely, but
it is pretty rare. Yeah.
Denise says, let's take a look at this book. She bought it for $1. I would say for $1, that's a no-brainer. I mean, this has got sales in the 25s. It also has seasonality in March and had some sales registered in the high 30s.
I'm guessing she bought it from the Amazon warehouse.
Yeah. Maybe they're just liquidating, right?
Yeah.
What I like is that this book has tons of sales volume. And what I'm also liking is that the buy box use price is not consistent left to right, meaning what I mean by that is there's a lot of space between points, meaning it's probably a lot of times where there isn't an FBA offer on the buy box, or in the buy box. So yeah, I'm seeing enough data for definitely $1. This is gonna be great. Now for $8, we're kind of looking at picking up the book around what you could have picked it up for in the past. But with that said, I am seeing this book able to sell in the 20s. And like I said, I just clicked on one of these prime prices. You can see that it looks like they went off the listing. It looks like they went off the listing at a super high price. So I'm not sure if they sold there, if that was a high pricing here. Possible it could have been, but what would you say for this book? I would say like 25 to 29.
Yeah, I was about to say $24.99, probably my min price, and my max price probably like around 35, maybe $39.99. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, you can see this person, DY Sales, came on the listing. They were there from March 22nd to March 24th. Came on the listing at $29.95, and they sold out pretty quickly. So for me, let's say the one that you bought for, I think you said $8. What I would do is probably set my min price at 25, which is still 70% ROI. I'm making $5 profit. Personally, I'd go a little bit lower on this book, but again, I'm just in the kind of period of time where I'm just trying to sell stuff. I don't want to be a book collector. Not that going up to the 40 is not that I couldn't sell that. It's just I'd honestly like to kind of dampen my ceiling price a little bit because I'm still wildly profitable.
Yeah.
But I also want to increase how many books I sell. So I would say that's what I would do, especially considering we see this guy sell for $29.95. I'm happy to sell between there and there. But the one for $1 was an amazing deal. Look at this. The one for $1, $16 profit on $1, right? Or 20 if you sold for 25.
1,690 something percent.
Yeah.
ROI. Yeah, that's awesome.
And this is what I mean
Well
about
done,
every book has a profitable purchase price, right? I would say at $8, you're probably stretching it in terms of what you'd want to buy this book for. At $1, this is an amazing book, right? But then again, at $15, this is way too expensive of a book, right? So there's any book that holds value. There's a price point that's right, and there's a price point that's amazing, and then there's a price point that's not right.
Yeah, stay away from it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's see. So I'm just kind of going past books, not really for any reason, just to see if anything immediately pops out to my eye that I want to kind of share with people. Let's actually go into let's do a book like this. People probably see books that are close in price and they're very hesitant to pick them up, but we've got extremely short supply, sell out very likely. Clearly a book that is selling very well, and it's a book about a very specific video game topic, I believe. Yeah, or not video game, Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting guide. So
those actually sell really well. I mean, do you see how many sales are happening here? That's a great. Oh, and the used offer count is really low.
It's so awesome low. Too. This is one of the reasons why BookMine just completely outshines and outcompetes other softwares, is because this in of itself, if you're just
it's looking pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, if you just in of itself, if you're looking at use price relative to past sales, most people could easily tell from the keep a snapshot that this book is slightly undervalued. Probably not undervalued enough to the point where you'd consider buying it. But this is where we come in, and this is where we hit out of the park. We're telling you that the supply meter is extremely short supply, and that it's very likely to sell out, because not only is it in short supply, but if you look at how frequently the book is selling relative to the number of offers on the listing, this should literally sell out probably pretty quickly.
Yeah.
This book has never been at a lower offer count. Maybe there's a time back here, and that actually gives us a reason to go look at it to see what happened to prices. And you can see that back then, when this book was selling in the 20s, it got all the way up into the 50s, so about doubled in price. And so we can probably expect something similar to happen. You can already see it happened a little bit, where offer count went down. We spiked from the 40s up until the 70s. And now what's so crazy about this book is you have an anomaly, Victor. You have a book that's getting cheaper despite the fact that it's in much lower supply and it's likely to sell out. So,
which is just so rare.
Yeah.
But because you have 100 million books, it happens every once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for a book like this at such a low offer count, I would definitely be looking at these buy box prices, because this gives us a little bit of a snapshot into what people are buying the book for already in the buy box at higher offer counts. And you've seen it's normally up in the 70s. But for a book like this, I'm now thinking 75 becomes my min price, probably like 90 becomes my max price on a book like this, maybe even 100, to be honest with you, because of the fact that it's
just
so
because there's the used offer count is so low. Good opportunity.
Yeah, you guys need it. Somebody needs to go buy this book. I mean, there's only one at 36, then it goes up to 50, and then to 60. So you're looking at 36.17 here. So you're just looking at somebody who's just completely mispriced their book. And for me, again, I would set the minimum price at $75. That's already a $16 profit. I'd probably honestly go $99.99, because there's so much value here. There's so much demand here.
I'd even seriously consider the $49.99 to buy both of them out to get the price back up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely. Right. I don't see how you lose even if you buy the 50. Right. Worst case. So like going back to this, let's say you buy for $49.93, and let's say you still set the min price at 75. I'm thinking 75 in this market where you're significantly below the number of offer sales that you have been in the recent past. I'm saying that's worst case scenario. I don't see how this book doesn't sell for $75.
Right.
But let's say, let's just say be ultra conservative and say we have to liquidate it at 60. Even if we liquidate it at 60, we lose $10. We're not risking $50. We're really risking like $10 because even at 60, I'm like, this book is gonna sell for way more than $60.
But do you see
But
how many sales are happening?
yeah,
It's going to happen, especially with such a low used offer count.
Right. So for me, this is the way I think about definitely investing in higher value books. Am I investing in an asset? I'm investing in an asset. Even at a higher offer count, this book should be able to easily sell for $60. But we're already at a much lower offer count, which makes you think we can sell for potentially a lot more. So incredible book. Hopefully one of you out there has already bought it, but great book there.
And BookMine just refreshed.
Oh, did? Sweet.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little bit about
refresh.
how often BookMine refreshes, whether or not that's a competitive advantage, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So BookMine definitely beats out all our competitors, right? Most of our competitors update their software once a day. We chose to really push our system and get it to the point where it updates once an hour. So right around between 20 to 30 past the hour is where BookMine refreshes, and it's every hour, and it's basically a leads list that just gets refreshed with the best books out there. And and then basically, if you're there at that time, come on in and try to buy as many books as you can.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it just refreshed. You can see that all these books on the first page are books that just updated in price. We haven't seen any of these books yet.
Yeah.
And so this is just a fresh supply. I mean, over 2,900 books listed here. I'm skipping over tons of books that we should be looking at. And this is how it's done. I mean, looks like a nice little seasonal book there. Another little seasonal book there, The Rice Diet, which is interesting. So,
and that's why it's also really good to be consistent, because if you're consistent, you're the first person to see these books that just dropped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we noticed that the people who are going to be most successful, Victor, are going to be the people that are on it every single day, right? So, how many days in the last year, Victor, had you not purchased a book? Like, think about 2023. In all of 2023, how many days in 2023 can you remember where you didn't buy at least a book?
Yeah, I was thinking, the year before is when I got COVID. So maybe on Christmas, but maybe I still bought a book on Christmas. So maybe 1, 2, at most, no more than 5 days I didn't buy a book.
Yeah, I would say same. Definitely no more than 5 days. It's probably 1 or 2 days where I didn't buy a book.
Right.
And so thinking about it from your guys' perspective out there, you're like, wow, Joji, last year sold 297,000 revenue. Victor sold 500,000. Why? We're doing the same actions that you guys are doing it, just way more often and more times per day, right? Because we're focused and we're thinking on it. Of course, we're at the point where we've been doing this for years. So we've got the experience and we've made the mistakes and we learn from them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you can buy a book for $10 and flip it for 45 one time, then you can get to 100,000 revenue. You just got to do it more times. It's more repetition. If you can sit here and give me 15 push-ups and you want to get buff, you just got to keep giving me 15 push-ups consistently every single day.
Right.
You guys want to get to 100,000 sales? Well, first show me that you know how to read a keep a graph and buy a profitable book, and then just do it over and over and over and over again. And that's why we created BookMine. We wanted to make finding the books much, much easier. My analogy for you guys is, even though we can't buy the books for you, we're basically taking you out on a boat to the middle of the ocean where we know there's a bunch of big fish. Just swimming around, throw your line in there, catch some fish, right? That's our goal, is to get you guys there. All you need to be is motivated enough to every single day, ideally multiple times throughout the day, open up BookMine and just start looking through the keeper graphs, right? There's a lot of gold there. That's why we call BookMine.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are gold miners or gold prospectors, right?
Right.
Or, gold panners, is because we're looking for gold. Is there.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of people doing it. I mean, there are people that I've checked out because it tracks every time you log in just for security reasons. And there are people that log in more than me and Joji. So there are people out there that are dedicated and really buying their books. And so all you guys also need to join them and, get on it. Basically, every day, at least buy 10 books a day, and you will easily sell, $100,000 in revenue.
Yeah. What's funny is that last book that we were just looking at with Denise,
Yeah.
The Gifts of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Remember that price we were looking at, $29.99. She said that was her sale, and it makes sense. DY sales, Denise Yates.
Oh.
So we were sitting here saying, Denise, oh yeah, we think you can sell for $29.99. She said, oh no, I already sold it for $29.99. Right. So
Yeah.
there's more
Oh,
proof.
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't get that until just now. Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so funny. Because she said, yes, let's go.
Yes.
So so she did the next level thing was she bought it at a thrift store for $1, sold it
Yeah.
for 29, then found it on Amazon for 8. Looked at the historical data, said, why not just rinse and repeat? I'll make a little bit less profit, but I'll be able to make profit from that original purchase, which is kind of
And you know
crazy.
what's really awesome about that is you now have that data, that proprietary data that no one else has, and you know what books sold and you know how much they sold them for. So use that data and you know get to the next level of a bookseller. So that was awesome, Denise. That's exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah, in other words, that could be your replan for years to come.
Right.
Denise
Exactly.
DY sales could be on the listing in 2027.
Yeah.
Still selling it for 29, and you could set a tracker, Denise. Every time it's under 750 free shipping, ship that book to your prep center.
Right.
Right? Sell for 29.95. That sweet little honey hole. You making $5-6 after every purchase. You just literally do nothing. Just click buy now. Shows up at the Amazon warehouse, sells, and you make money. This is why we love this model so much. Anyways, we do have some exciting news. September 13th through September 15th. What's going down, Victor?
We're about to have the biggest book selling conference that exists. We are getting all the booksellers together, no matter what type of bookseller you are. I mean, we're having people who own bookstores, actual physical locations,
Yeah.
all the way to like thrift store people, bulk sell booksellers, and us online arbitrage.
Online arbitrage. We're gonna have the whole model, the whole business model.
Exactly.
A lot of exciting people who have told us that they're gonna come, and so we hope you guys can make it. It's gonna be in Las Vegas, Nevada, September 13th to 15th. Like you can see how happy Denise is.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Let's go bookseller conference. Steve Rakin, Eva Romer, Victor Gallegos, Joji. So I mean, even those four, I would say, is a pretty solid lineup already. But we're already bringing other awesome people.
We can't tell you the names yet because we haven't got like guarantees from them yet, or like for sure. But we're working behind the scenes, and we really think we have a really great lineup already established. So, yeah.
By the way, guys, we're thinking there's gonna be a special event for BookMine members only. So BookMine members and GoToLister members. So just if you guys go, there's going to be something sponsored by BookMine there that you guys won't have to pay for extra. It's just if you're already a BookMine member and we know who you are, then you'll get to come. So
yeah.
Nathan says have location of hotel deals have been announced. So we're still finalizing everything right now. We're thinking about a couple of conference rooms, and we're trying to finalize details there. But I don't know if you want to say Victor or not, but
not yet. But we do Las Vegas and probably Old Town. So where those hotels there, that's what we're kind of focused in on. So we haven't looked at anywhere on the new strip. We're looking at the old strip.
Yep.
And so yeah.
So Fremont Street, hopefully, and a really cool vibe there. So
yeah, it's a pretty cool vibe.
Winter tickets going on sale. Again, we're still finalizing the speaker list, putting the sort of itinerary together, coming out with a sales page so people can actually see it. But we got Matt, we got Shane, we got Nate, we got a lot of people, Denise, a lot of people who are interested.
I really can't wait to meet you guys.
Yeah, I mean, this could be awesome.
Yeah.
And we did send out like a tester feeler, and we had like 200 people give us our emails and their names.
Right.
So we think this could be pretty awesome for a lot of people.
200 people already joined the wait list.
Zipline Fremont.
Yeah.
Someone on the street hands you a card, don't take it.
Thank you.
I was laughing at this right here.
Yeah.
Victor, when you're talking, she's like, fish on, because if you ever fish, I don't know if you've ever fished before, Victor, but
yeah, I have.
Yeah, but people who are really into fish, whenever they're out on the lake or on the ocean and they get a big fish, they go fish on. You know, they're like super excited.
Wow, I've never heard. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So I'm laughing because I'm like thinking, I get to see Denise like out there smiling when she's like, "Oh, you're amazing, but book on."
Yeah,
so this should be this should be like a slogan for us: book on, or
like something like it. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up the live stream here. I had a ton of fun with you guys. Found a lot of profitable books. Hopefully, you guys felt that this was very educational, which is our goal. Selfishly, we want you guys to use the best offer out there. So in order to do that, we got to teach you guys the skills needed to use the best offer out there. And that's why we're over here grinding, posting videos on the BookMine YouTube channel, being here live on the BookMine YouTube channel. And our goal, Victor, is to create impact, right? It's fun selling hundreds of thousands of dollars and making a lot of money, but what's even more fun is helping other people sell hundreds of thousands of dollars and make money.
It's our way of like giving back. So Joji, if people wanted to join BookMine, how would they do it?
Yeah, if you guys want to join BookMine, what's so cool, I just share my screen real quick, is you can just go to our website, bookmine.co, and you can go ahead and just sign up for a free trial. You can read a little bit about why our software is proprietary, and then you can free trial either the Gold Planner and also the Gold Prospect. You can't free trial the Gold Miner only because that gives you access to our calendars where you can book a one-on-one with Victor or I, 30 minutes once per month. But free trial, 10 days, and if you don't like it after 10 days, cancel it. What we've been seeing for people who have canceled, because there are people who cancel, it's never like, oh, your software sucks.
That hasn't happened yet, right? Yeah,
it's always like, well, I'm just not there yet. Like, I'm not able to spend,
I'm not ready yet. I didn't realize I ran out of money. Basically, I bought too many books and ran out of money, and I need that to start selling, and I'll come back. Most people said like, I'm coming back soon.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. This is why we're really trying to help everyone in the community out get there, because you have an amazing tool, but the tool requires capital, right? If you want to buy books and sell books and do high revenue numbers, but also high profit numbers, you have to spend money on books. You have to be picking up those books for $15 or $20 or $30. And the only way you can do that is if you start building your snowball and you start building your capital. So we're here trying to help educate you guys so that you can pick up books that you can sell profitably. You can start increasing your snowball, because we got to think long term, right? Even though we just started BookMine a couple months ago, and we've been selling books for years before that, 6-7 years before that. And a lot of you guys here who are really into this are probably going to be around 6-7 years from now. I mean, my when I think of you all in this community, I'm thinking I'm going to see Denise and Nathan and Matt and Shane at the 2029 book selling conference in Las Vegas. Like, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
But by then, these guys are going to be so much higher than they are today. And that's when we'll know we have made a massive impact. So
you guys will be some of the speakers that we're going to want to put up there. Like, hey, you guys started out just as BookMine members, and look what you guys are doing. So that's what we're seeing. That's the community we're building.
Yeah. So 2027, Denise, be ready. BookMine speaker, 2027. Maybe even before that. Maybe you'll be 2025, 2026. Who knows? But it'd be really awesome. So anyways, we have to end here. We both have families, and we're going to go tend to them now. But we've had an awesome time here with you guys. And guys, go buy some books. That's all I can say. Go buy some books.
Exactly. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, peace out. And he says, let's go.